This episode of Rookie Hunter is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. Become a member, join the Lesson 1 Club, and attend their annual convention, Sheep Show, Reno, Nevada in 2020. For more information, go to wildsheepfoundation.org. Hey guys, welcome to episode 117 of Rookie Hunter. I'm in St. John's, Newfoundland. I've been working out here for the last couple weeks, which is why this is late, but Kelly and I recorded this in the studio before I left. We covered some of his plans for hunting. He's going to be taking off on a moose hunt next week, and we got some questions and some random chatter in this one, so I think you'll enjoy it. As always, these episodes are brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. You can become a member by going to wildsheepfoundation.org, and don't forget to become a member of the Lesson 1 Club. As you know, I'm still in it, and so is Kelly. Sitka gear. I mentioned the Mountain Hauler 6200 in this episode. Love the pack. I think it's worth checking out. As far as packs go, I think it falls into the affordable category. So go check that one out. You can go to Sitka Gear's website, or you can jump over to our website, rookiehunter.com, click on the gear tab, and you can see all of the Sitka gear that we're using there. Let's get into this episode. Sit back, relax, crack a nice cold beer, and enjoy episode 117 with me and Kelly. How you doing?
Good, you?
Good. What's on tap, Cal? I don't think we've done that in a while.
Phillips Brewery in Victoria, BC, and we got the Blue Buck, which I believe is kind of your regular lager type beer, which is refreshing.
It is.
And muley season's open, rifle now, so I thought how appropriate. And we've talked about this before, but I don't think the buck on the can is actually a buck.
No, it looks like a red stag.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like some type of elk bull type looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not complaining, but they got to change that.
Next time we're there, we'll let them know.
Yeah.
You might want to change the name of that to Red
Blue
Stag.
Bull.
Yeah. Blue Stag. Both you and I have been at the Blue Buck. It's more than a tasting room. It's kind of a what would
Phillips.
you call it? Yeah.
Yeah, the brewery in Victoria
Phillips,
there.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
With Chris Barker on two separate occasions there.
Yeah.
That's his favorite hangout. He works not too far from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool spot.
Yeah, they have some good cured meats there too.
Yeah,
And
they do.
have some, they make gin, stump gin.
I didn't know they did that, actually. They had a whole whack of liquor there.
Yeah, it's good.
I didn't try any, but next time.
Yeah, it's too bad it's not closer.
That's true. Well, Kelly, the episodes came out.
Yep. The
Goat meat
episodes came out. The
goat meat
hunt
in the
is
freezer.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've eaten some since then, and it was delicious.
Nice.
Yeah. The tenderloins. And I
Yeah.
had a little chunk of, basically it was just like a piece of shank, like just a piece of meat that I had cut off one of I think it was off the front leg that kind of got blown off a little bit. So I just pulled some pieces off that, and it was quite good. I thought it'd be chewy and not that great, but yeah, it's good.
Cool.
So it's all, I saved the, holy shit.
What the? Phone's having a seizure. Was that yours or mine?
Just you
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought,
freaking out.
Hmm.
Everything all right over there?
I think so.
It's good. Jeez, scared me.
trying
I
to-
forgot what I was talking about.
We can get into the whole muley hunt, but yeah, so the goat tasted good.
Yeah. So I saved some of the good cuts, and then I basically cubed everything up, and I figured I'm going to do some good fall meals with that, like, slow roast type, curries and stews and that type of thing. I think that's going to be a good meat for that. So
Cool.
I'm going to do that when I get back from the East Coast. So I figured it'd be a little cooler by then, and it's kind of get into that root vegetable season here in the Okanagan and lots of good stuff. So I think it'd be a nice pair.
Cool.
With some beer, of course.
Yeah.
And red wine, actually. Would
round it out.
Yeah.
We talked a bit about gear and stuff that you'd, thought worked out, or maybe you would have changed. But I'm wondering, because we did a number of podcasts before you left.
Yeah.
And if you could go back in time and sit in that room with us talking about what we were going to do and like how this was going to be and what we were worried about, what would you tell those guys?
I would tell those guys that they actually did a pretty good job of researching and being calculated for a first time into an unknown location. The only thing that really stuck out to me was the extra pieces of clothing I brought, which was the Sitka down hoodie and the Jetstream. I didn't use those.
Yeah, but
if I needed them
5 days earlier, if you would have been out there, you could have died.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
And I did not use the water filter. And I think that was it, man. Everything else sort of came into play.
Well, that's good to know, though, with the water filter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, I guess it's because we live in the Okanagan and you're never sure of your water sources, right? You go in the spring and all these creeks are raging, and then you go back in the fall and there's no water at all.
Well, most of the provincial sites too, like provincial parks, most of them say like water is not, like bring your own water.
Yeah.
That water is not safe to drink just straight out of the whatever. That's down here.
Yeah.
So I think we're used to that.
Kind of just, embedded into our brain that that's something that you could run into, but there's just so much fresh water up there, man. It's, you don't really need the water filter, and it's clean. When Garrett and I got back to the lake, there wasn't really a stream that we could get to that was close. So we were pulling it out of the lake, and because there was horses and stuff around, we did boil that water, but boiling it was sufficient.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because all of that is just filtering into the lake. So there would have been a lot of horse piss and shit and everything else going in there. So better safe than sorry.
Yeah, standing water.
So one of the nice things about being in BC is we've got really clean water in the backcountry. So, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else, man. I think we did pretty good. Those were the the three main things that I just didn't really use. But,
well, I think, if there was something big, it would have stood out, I think.
Yeah.
And like last time when we hiked in off the highway and we kind of thought like, wow, we were way off with where we thought we were going to end up, right? But this time, I think we took that into account and kind of picked our spots based on a little more realistic expectation anyway.
Yeah.
Or experienced expectation.
That's probably a better way to put it, yeah.
Yeah. And it sounded like you guys hit all the spots, so that's cool.
Yeah, so each time we go out and do these hunts, I think we'll probably be stripping down a few more things each time. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And had we known or not if you were going to come, that probably would have changed the way I packed a little bit. Like Garrett and I could have shared a few more things potentially. And it's different. 3 is a weird number, right? 4 guys is kind of
apparently the strongest number though.
Yeah. But it's, it's just a kind of a weird one because there's always that possibility that one person goes on their own or they don't or whatever. When you got 4, you're always going to be in sort of, groups of 2. 3's an odd one, so there's always like that. Maybe we should bring this, maybe we shouldn't, or whatever. But I think we did pretty good, man.
Unless we all just agree up front, like, well, no, it's hard because you're not always going to be traveling in a group of 3.
Yeah,
depending on whether you're glassing or stalking or whatever. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's just short notice, so.
Yeah, we made it work.
We were lucky. We were 3 actually in that case.
I know.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, if it was just you and I would have been like,
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting hunt. Yeah. I went to physio. We mentioned that my knee was kind of buggered. When we were out there for a couple of days, it was giving me a hard time. And I went and got that checked out. She said it's most likely because we were in so much mud the first few days. The first day in particular when we had our full loads and we were getting to the spot that we wanted to camp in, the trails were just like sloppy, muddy nastiness and that. So you're sliding around And there's trenches. Anyone who's been on backcountry horse trails knows that these horses make like a pretty deep trench through there. So sometimes you're trying to get up on the edge of that and stay out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're kind of bouncing all over the place and you're sliding around. So she figured that's probably what it was. And it's just sort of tendons and stuff on the inside of my kneecap that she said probably just got irritated, and nothing to worry about. But she said, just take it easy for running for a bit. So I went out today since I got the okay and just sort of ran for a bit.
Yeah.
Walked for a bit, ran, and feels good. So I got some new running shoes too. So
Nice.
back in action. So I'll take it easy. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. But still in the morning, it's a little bit tight. It's a bit weird. But
Yeah, mine's feeling pretty good.
it's good.
My right hip is still a little bit. I think it was when I was training with that 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And I just kept going out and going out and going out. And I think it just aggravated it a little bit. But yeah, I kind of have this app basically trains you back into running.
Right.
I've complained about running so much on this podcast.
People
but
are like, Jesus Christ, Kelly.
just give it up. But I actually like doing it. So I've been doing that for a couple of weeks and it's all good so far. So
Nice.
it kind of starts you at 3K and then it works you like walking, running intervals, and it keeps it pretty easy. And then it bumps it up over like a 20-week period or something.
I should get into something like that because I've just ran. I've never had any kind of,
Yeah.
training schedule, throwing in
I think
running
that's-
hills and doing that kind of stuff and
Yeah.
pacing out a run with walking. And I've just ran like
Yeah.
start to finish. And
This app has different programs. It's got 0 to 5K. So, and that's over like 15 weeks or
Right.
20 weeks or
Cool.
whatever. And then it's got 5 to 10
Sweet.
and then 10 to 30. And like you
Cool.
can just keep bumping.
what app
it
is
up.
this?
I think it's called Run Trainer.
Okay.
You do have to subscribe to it, but I really like how simple it is. So I just did. Like, if you think about how much it costs to go to the gym or how much to get a trainer or how much to do whatever, I figure like the $10 or whatever for an app is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If it can help me actually get into it.
Yeah. And keep you from getting
Hurting
injured.
myself, yeah.
I think that's probably the key point.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Oh, the other thing I want to mention on the gear side of things, Kelly, is that I didn't really talk about the Mountain Hauler 6200. I'm really happy with that pack.
Yeah, I've been happy with it too.
Yeah.
But obviously you just put it to the test.
Yeah, and I've been using it all year, and we did some day trips with them and stuff like that. But until you go and you're actually living on the thing, it's I'm super happy with it. And I know Garrett was kind of envious of it too. He's got a great pack, but there's just certain things that are useful. And I think one of the main ones is being able to get in through the bottom.
Mhm.
Garrett's Cafaro, you can get in through the side too, but I think it's just those little things that kind of make a difference. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Man, getting in through that bottom zipper is the best thing ever.
it's key. Yeah.
I've had all my packs. They've never had that. And this
Mhm.
is a total game changer.
Yeah.
Even when I'm out there, I'm like, I don't really need this vest anymore. So instead of like pulling the lid off,
Yeah.
unstrapping everything, I just unzip the bottom, I slam it in there. I even started like for day hunts when I don't really have anything in the main compartment. I kind of shove everything in that front compartment.
Yeah. I've used that a lot for extra clothes and that too.
Yeah. And then the main compartment with my food and stuff, sometimes I just throw it in the bottom.
Right.
And if I need to eat something, I just like rip in the bottom,
Yeah.
pull stuff out, throw it back in. It depends, I guess, what I have, but at least that's what I did last time. And yeah, it's a game changer.
Nice.
I love the organization capability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those little things go a long way, man. It's,
Yeah.
It's not really a big, change on
Yeah.
a pack, but holy fuck, it makes a big difference for keeping yourself organized. And
I mean, when
And,
I bought my first pack, I remember talking to Aaron, and that was his point, was like, if your system's dialed and
Yeah.
you're into, like, if you know kind of what you're doing, you have your system ready, you can deal with a rucksack like that
Right.
without too much organization. But he said if you don't operate like that, then it's definitely better to have a lot of organization. And I kind of did the full circle and realized that I'm one of those people that needs
yeah.
a lot of organization,
Yeah.
even for a little extra weight for the pockets. But I think it's worth it.
For sure. Before we switch gears here to some of your hunting plans and that, we got an email from a guy that's his name's Nick, wondering if you guys can point me towards some YouTube or articles that are good for skinning deer, transporting, and hunting in general. The more specific to BC, the better. I did my core about 10 years ago, so it's been a while. Although I know the rules and regulations, it would be nice to read or watch something specific to BC. I believe we still have on our website, there's a video by, I think it was Randy Newberg, the gutless method.
Oh yeah.
Right?
There's yeah. And if you search for other videos, like there's a bunch of them on there, but I do like that Randy Newberg one. I think he had an elk down when he did his, but they're all the same.
Yeah.
An elk's big, but deer, and it's all going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually easier to see on the elk when he breaks it down. So you might be able to
might be an easier one to do. Yeah. But even if you're going for the organs and stuff like that, I still find like the gutless method is just a cleaner way of pulling the meat out, because there's no risk of fucking anything up with any, if it's a gut shot and you made a mess in there, well, just leave that stuff in there.
Yeah. You could always open up the insides afterwards.
Exactly.
Too,
that's what I was going towards, is that, you can still get in there after, but you sort of minimize having all of that kind of, if you're uncomfortable with doing that. Yeah.
The back legs, like those back quarters. I don't like having stuff, running all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or, I mean, you could always pop the back quarters off and then deal with the rest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I always try to protect those hind quarters.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then what else do we have?
Well, I don't know. The other advice that would be this, like if you're going and you're planning on doing backpack trips, you're probably going to want to bone everything out, because that's going to save you a ton of weight. My 4-point, I stupidly brought everything out with the bones in it. And Jesus Christ, that was a crazy pack load.
Yeah.
I talked about that one a couple of times, but ended up falling over and smashing up my arm pretty good and having a rough time. But I was in such a hurry because it was a really hot day that I figured I'm just going to, quarter everything, pull all the meat off, throw everything in the pack. I should have just pulled all the bones out and stuff too. Depending on how far back you are, because you can make really good bone broths and stuff like that with the bones. So if you can keep them, do it for sure. But it depends how far you are. And with the mountain goats, we deboned everything while we were up there, because there's no way we were going to pack all that stuff out.
Just kind of one line down the inside along the bone and then just peel it off?
Pretty much, yeah. It's not quite that easy, but more or less, yeah.
Right.
So, you don't get it's nice if you can bring everything back on the bone, because you can break down all those different cuts a lot easier, but it just depends on your situation and what you plan on doing with the meat too.
Yep.
So, and then skinning, don't have a whole lot of experience. I don't know if he's leaning towards doing a rug or a mount or something like that. You've done that with the bear, and you did an okay job. I know that you there's a couple of rough spots on that one, but the guy was able to clean them up for you.
Yeah, and I don't think I really knew what I wanted to do in the moment with that one. I kind of leaned towards, bringing it home and doing something with it, but I wasn't sure. It was my first bear, and I don't know. So, I think there's definitely situations where okay, I'm going to make a full-blown rug, or if I got a sheep, I would definitely do a shoulder mount with it at least. So in those situations, I would definitely be more careful, and I'm confident if I was taking my time more, it would be fine.
Yeah.
I think that's the key, is just
time.
Take your time, and you just gotta pull in the hide back and just make sure your cuts are more on the meat side than the hide side, 'cause some of those areas get pretty thin. But you could always buy a book like Steve Rinnella's.
That's probably the best advice, the guide for big game.
Yeah, it kind of gives you the dotted lines on how you where you're going to cut. Yeah. And I know with bear, you're kind of starting at the palms and you're working your way up the arm, kind of with all the limbs, and then you're going that way. But with deer, with deer it's kind of the same too. You're kind of starting at the hoof and then going up the side of the leg, and then around the midsection there, down the other side. You peel the one side off, and then you flip it after you're done on that side, taking all the limbs and all the meat off that side, and then you flip it onto the hide and keep it clean.
Yeah, keep it clean that way.
Do it all over on the other side. But I don't know, man. I think you can ask all the questions and watch all the videos and do all that you want, because we were in this situation not long ago. But until you have one on the ground and you start cutting, like once you start cutting, you're going to know what to do. I guarantee it.
I would agree.
And even if you mess up, you're not going to mess up that bad.
Ideally, if you can have another guy with you too, if it's something that's really important to you, say if it was a sheep or whatever, once in a lifetime kind of thing, you're definitely going to want to have some people helping you holding limbs so that you can make nice, clean cuts, because it's hard to do on your own.
Yeah. And there's probably 10, 20 different ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to get in there and get the meat out. Really.
Yeah. And then for transporting meat, I'm not too sure what he's asking there, but
we always come prepared with a cooler. If we're,
I always had a cooler in the vehicle every single time. So you go through a lot of ice, but who gives a shit? It's ice.
Yeah, with you went up, brought your deer down, had all your gear left that you had to go back for.
Yeah.
So if you have a cooler that you can drop all that stuff off in, lock the truck, and you're not stressing about it the whole time where you have to go back to get your gear, then that's a much better situation.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to pack like 200 pounds of stuff back in one shot.
You know what? Luckily, so for my 4-point, you came and met me with a cooler, which was nice.
Exactly.
The 2-point that I got the year after, I had a cooler. I actually had the little Volkswagen for that one. It's this tiny little Volkswagen Golf.
Yeah.
I had a cooler in the back. I had managed to get the whole deer in there, and there was already ice in there. So just one more thing that you don't have to worry about.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say always have a cooler ready to rock.
Yeah.
If you got a big distance to travel, if it's fall and it's cold and you got a truck, probably going to be fine.
Yeah, that's true. I'm thinking September.
It's fucking hot around here.
It's hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 24 during the day.
Yeah.
So, and then if you're in the sun, it's even worse.
I think it was the day that I got that 4-point, it was close to 30 degrees that day, if not 30 or slightly above.
Yeah.
That's pretty hot when you're dealing with meat.
Yeah.
So, and then, beyond that, as long as you got your tag and all your info with you, if you get pulled over, you're fine.
Yep.
They do set up roadblocks, especially when you're up north. We've gone through that a couple times.
Yeah, for sure. I've been pulled over 2 or 3 times just in this area.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you always want to have your licenses and your BC license or wherever you're at, driver's license.
We've been pulled over, we've hit roadblocks, and we've had a helicopter land next to us. And
I've had a Sea-Doo come up to me, not deer hunting, but kokanee fishing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were ripping around on Sea-Doos and came up and said license and whatever, not registration, but so I had to pass it was actually, I think it was on my phone or something. So I had to pass my phone like over the water to the guy on the Sea-Doo.
Oh, wow.
So then I started just printing it off because I don't have to do that again.
Good call.
But they'll show up anywhere.
Yeah, they will. Like we said, in the middle of the backcountry, they drop down in a bloody helicopter. So
that's why I think that's such a cool job, man. Like they don't get enough credit. The places they're hanging out in and driving along by themselves and pulling people over with guns in the car. And yeah, that's a pretty intense job.
Absolutely.
A necessary one too.
Yeah, I would agree. We got a question on the old Insta. You put up a great video there, Kelly. What's your opinion on LAH system, on our LAH system in BC? I've applied for 7 years, 0 draws. Well, welcome to the club. Kelly, on the other hand.
Well, you didn't apply this
year. I didn't because I'm not around that much.
See, and I think you would have been successful.
Probably, but I wouldn't have been able to go. So save it for next year. And plus we're going up north where everything's over the counter. So it didn't really matter.
Well, we were successful in the group hunt.
It's true.
For moose.
But you applied for that.
I did. And then I've had the muley doe tag here twice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I kind of apply for goat and sheep in low percentage areas. So I'm kind of going into it knowing that I'm probably not going to get those tags. I kind of plan around over the counter hunts all year, like mule deer around here and obviously sheep and goat and stuff up north. We're kind of lucky to do that. But I don't know, man. We're relatively new to the whole hunting world compared to, some folks that have been around for 40 years, but hunting for 40 years or more. But
I say you just need to find yourself a Kelly. and get him to apply for shit because he'll be successful.
Yeah. If you need muley does, then we should be okay.
But it's,
I mean, if it's based
a lottery,
on,
man, and it's like
yeah.
some people are super lucky with that stuff, and some people get shit luck like me.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't think we can infer that like the system's broken just because somebody got 2 tags or whatever. Like in theory, somebody could win the lottery or get struck by lightning twice too. But
totally,
there's just a lot of frustration, I think. But
it's a fucking bummer when you see that the results are live and you sign in there. You're like,
yeah,
this is going to be the year. It's been 6 years.
I mean, I've never got a goat tag. I've never got a sheep tag. I've never got the elk tag that I always apply for, which is a cow elk.
Yeah,
which would be really cool.
That would be,
because that would be some good meat. But I don't know. I mean, each one of those species and areas is based on odds, which I assume it's more of a wildlife management tool, right? So I think, I don't know. I kind of like the way it's set up. Like if it's a way they can manage hunts and opportunity, then as a way to ensure that populations are healthy, then that's great. I think probably more than anything, it would go, more that way.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about options or levers that they could potentially pull. Like one of them is like increasing fees or license fees.
Yeah.
The other one is making sure all those license fees go into the resource, which I think has to happen.
Yeah, that definitely needs to happen.
I don't get that one. And then the other one is like regulations, but Jesse's mentioned a number of times that like the general regulations aren't a huge driver for population management, but the LEH stuff is so specified, like per area, per species, that I would hope that they have a handle on, what the odds should be. And if they're low, then they're low. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
There might not be many animals there. So you got to change your strategy and go for somewhere else.
Yeah. There's certain ones that you and I apply for.
Yeah.
2 in particular. You know which ones I'm talking about.
Because it would be so cool to get.
If we get it once, one of us gets it,
yeah,
I would consider us lucky.
Yeah, for sure. In our lifetime.
Yeah. Just one of us, not both of us, just one of us. So.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that's kind of fun in some ways. And hopefully more tags become available because that means that, that particular group or herd is doing well.
Yeah.
But
I know in the States you can buy like, I don't know what they're called. They're points or something. So every time you apply, you get more points. Yeah. So I don't know about that. I think in BC, we're just so lucky that, if you want to hunt goat out your backyard, then maybe you have to take an LEH draw and hope for the best. But if you do want to hunt goat somewhere else, you can just get in a car and go buy a tag, right? So I think it's less impactful to us for like never being able to hunt something.
Yeah.
But in the States, I think it's Idaho, but I think they have you can draw a moose once in your life and that's it.
Wow.
I think. Because I seem to remember somebody from First Light drew one and that was the story. But yeah.
Hey, I just saw a message in here. It said, I'm a rookie female hunter and I just started from episode 1. I love how earnest you are. Blue Buck is my go-to beer.
Oh, nice.
Episode 2.
See, subconsciously, that's why I bought that.
She made you buy it, Callie.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice to hear.
Good feedback.
Nice to hear from a lady. That's rare around these parts.
Yeah.
So, Cal, you got plans. I'm heading to the East Coast for work for a couple of weeks here. Unfortunately, it's shitty for hunting season, but hey, it is what it is. I'm going to do some fishing. I got some fishing plans out there.
Yep.
We're going to go out, jig for some cod. We're going to do some lobster fishing. Or
nice.
However you want to. Yeah.
Cool.
So that should be fun.
Lobster trapping.
Trapping. Yeah.
So bobber with a little shrimp on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got another question in here. Thoughts on military surplus gear for hunting? Is it a good option on a budget?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, that's what my thought is. I'm not in the military, so I wouldn't know what kind of is involved there, but I say whatever gets you out there, put it on. Absolutely. Unless you're planning a 10-day goat hunt, plane drop off, you might want to be a little more careful about what you're wearing. Yeah. But Cal, you sent me that photo of one of our, I don't think we were actually hunting, but it was like our first like scouting trip while we were waiting for all of our licenses to come in. So you and I went out
we got caught in all that fog and stuff, I think. And I'm wearing blue jeans. I got a shitty backpack on. Like, I think I was running, or I was wearing those Vibram, like, barefoot shoes.
Mm-hmm.
We're out there just having the time of our lives.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, on a day hunt, man, like I don't really think you need rain
like,
gear.
Just a basic, I think I had a basic rain jacket in the backpack and really basic stuff. It's a pretty hilarious photo.
Yeah. I mean, if it's early season, whatever. Yeah. If it rains, it rains. If you get wet, you get wet. You might come back with an animal. If it's November, I'd be maybe a little more.
I think that army surplus stuff is pretty decent, really.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So yeah, man, absolutely. Cool. Whatever gets you out there, but as long as you're sort of hunting within your limit and range due to weather, as long as you feel like you're covered, wouldn't go too crazy.
Yep. The deer don't care.
Nope.
And camo is, in my opinion, overrated anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
For most situations, maybe like there's a 5% where it's, you blend it in pretty well, both you and Garrett, in some of those pictures I saw on the sheep hunt there. Like when you're dealing with animals that have very, very good eyesight and they rely on that to live, then maybe that's where I'd kind of lean that direction.
Yeah,
but
I take it back. Actually, there's definitely some benefits to it in certain situations.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, like if I was hunting day hunts and elk hunting and deer hunting, like I don't think I'd let that stop me. Like
no,
I mean, I think most of the animals you've got to date have been in solids. So
all of them.
Yeah, so it's
except for the goat.
Yeah. And then there's obviously a lot of fabric technology, which is great. I just think it gives you so much more peace of mind when you can get that stuff to kind of push yourself further.
Yeah.
And then that increases your chances. But if you don't have it, it doesn't mean you can't push far. Just maybe not extra far.
But with the goat, camo didn't really have any impact on that. But it was good clothing that allowed us to be out there in every kind of weather.
Yeah.
We talked about it in there. We had wind, rain, heavy rain, snow, hail, sunshine.
Yeah.
All within one day.
I don't think I would personally go into an area like that without
really good
the
stuff.
best gear.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start getting wet, you can't turn off that tap, right? Like you're done. It's like saturated and you're done.
Yeah.
And then you might be in trouble. So, yeah.
But yeah, that'll work just fine.
Yep, for sure.
So Cal, what do you got planned while I'm away?
I'm going to get out for some muleys. Going to go out for a couple day hunts, I think.
You've already been out.
Yeah, I did go out. So this was bow season though. So the September 1st to the 9th is bow only.
Yep.
And youth hunting. So if you're a youth, you can use a rifle, but otherwise you're stuck to bow. And how many seasons is this now? 6-ish?
Yep.
And I've never actually drawn my bow on an actual animal before, but I had a good feeling about this because it was the first day. I went out on September 1st. There's a massive storm the night before.
Yeah.
And all through that night, just pouring rain. So, and I don't know, I also looked at the moon and it wasn't a full moon. It was the opposite. So I just figured, and I was also going to a spot that had like relatively high traffic through the summer. So I figured like, okay,
they're a bit more used to it.
They're a bit more used to it. It's the first day of the season. They don't know what's coming. Big storm. They're going to be out moving around. Sure enough, after about, I would say 2 to 3 hours of just kind of slowly walking around, I hung a right and went up this trail that was like beaten down by horses, and the bushes were all over my head. So I'm kind of like pushing my way through there, making a bunch of racket, and they were all wet. So I'm getting soaked. I had a t-shirt on.
Yeah, nice.
And then all of a sudden I hear like a stampede, and I look up, and over the top of the bushes, I can see like 4 does and 2 bucks pop up, muleys. And the 2 bucks are both 2 points. So they're not the biggest deer, but they were legal. It's any buck with a bow. So I'm like all excited right off the bat. I'm running out of that sandwich bush spot that I was in and try to get some visibility. And I had to work pretty fast. So I like ripped the rangefinder out. I look at 35 yards. I'm like, it's a little, I'd rather it be 30 or less, but I think this is good. drew back, fired right over his back.
Bummer.
Sound spooked all of them. They just took off. So that was like my adrenaline for the season so far.
Yeah, nice.
Which was really cool. Like even just experiencing that, I'm fortunate that I didn't like make a bad shot,
Right.
obviously. So I feel good, obviously, that I missed him completely.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, I can't just leave this here. So I kept going up and I did a loop onto this little cliff. And I figured if I loop back down, I could see them kind of coming around the corner, like try to get ahead of them.
Yeah.
And I did see one doe come walking around. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a second shot at this. But turns out she was the last one, not the first one. And then, I just kind of watched her and where she went and then followed her path. And then I actually spooked them again, but they took off right away.
They're on,
But
yeah.
it was cool because my thought was that it's very hard to bow hunt mule deer in this area because there's a lot of like bushes and stuff. Like
Yeah.
Jeff Landers talked about it too. Like just very difficult place to bow hunt. So my thought was with mule deer, usually you can spook them and they'll look at you for a bit. And that's exactly what happened with these deer. It was just in a spot that I absolutely least expected it to happen,
Right,
which is
of
always the
course.
case.
Yeah.
I was actually going to get set up to kind of to do that.
Yeah.
And it happened as I was on my way. So it is what it is. It
Yeah.
was fun. I don't know. I feel more optimistic this year because like I'm going out and I'm using it just as like, I'm going for a hike. I'm going to see some cool stuff. Like if I see a deer, it happens, as opposed to like, you know, I'm going out. This is going to be a lot of effort. I really hope that I see a 4-point. If I don't, I'm going to be upset about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like totally changing my view, and it totally worked out. Like it just allows you to just go with the flow,
Just enjoy it.
do what feels right in the moment. Like don't plan too much. And so yeah, I'm gonna do the same coming up here. I'm hoping to get out this weekend
Nice.
for rifle, and I've planned out a route, and now it's just a matter of once I get there, I have a couple options, so
Cool.
can take a walk and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good about that too. I don't know, man. Like I've seen a lot of deer over the summer and into the fall, a lot of fawns, a lot of action. I just think it's been a good summer and a good
Yeah.
winter for them. So
I think so, man. All
I
the
hope
deer I've
it's a
seen
different
look
story.
super healthy.
Yeah.
So I'm back on the 29th, and then I'm back only until October 11th, I think. And so I want to get in some hunts while I'm back. Whitetail or antlerless whitetail opens on October 10th, which is the day before I leave. But I'm going out and seeing if I can find, which whitetail I'm after.
Yeah.
I want to see if I can go and grab that one.
Nice.
So I know somebody who's probably not going to approve of my plans, but I'm going to go and do it anyways.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'll be October 10th. What day is that? Weekday?
I think it's a Thursday or something. I don't really know,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
But take that day off.
Yeah, maybe.
And there's also moose hunt that you're probably going to go on with Garrett again.
Yeah. So, and then maybe yourself. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know.
going to try and sneak out.
Yeah, I took time off already. It's just a matter of confirming plans. I think he was talking to his group
Cool.
this Tuesday. So
Do you know all those guys?
no, I don't know who he's going with. I
Yeah.
just assumed his dad.
You'll
and,
have a blast. They're all good guys. And they're guys who've been hunting for a long time, so you'll be able to
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
learn some shit from them.
Going into a new area,
Yeah.
learning things from some older guys, hanging out with Garrett's never a bad thing.
No.
And yeah, maybe, there's a lot of muleys around there too.
Yeah.
So see what happens.
For sure.
So yeah, I'm planning to go.
Sweet.
And I'm allowed to. So
You're allowed to. That's good.
yeah,
You have permission.
I got permission.
Well, it sounds
on,
like you're going then.
yeah, we'll see what happens. I just need to talk to Garrett because I don't know what the final plan or dates were.
Right.
So yeah, I don't.
This
think
will
it
be a
should
nice,
problem.
comfortable wall tent situation.
Yeah.
Actually, if you need Helleberg, let me know. Well, just stop at my house and grab it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the wall tents will be there, and they'll have multiple wall tents. It's going to be a nice, comfortable setup.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Cool.
that'll be a good one.
So, potential to be in on a moose hunt this year. And what else?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, if we can get, hoping we can get him. Well, I have the LEH Muley tag too.
Right.
Which is a doe tag. And that one's limited to within 700 meters of like around the city of Kelowna.
Yes.
So there's very few places you can go.
It's a really interesting tag, but I think you're going to have some luck with that one, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm hoping I can come with you
I'm
for that.
extremely, not to jinx myself, I'm extremely confident with that one.
Careful.
I'm knocking on wood.
And that starts October 1st, right?
October 1st, yep, till the 15th. But man, I go for hikes all the time. This is, I was training in this area and I see deer every single time I'm up there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not used to being hunted because it's just a rare tag, right? So the one thing that always bugs me a little bit with LEH tags like that is you take a shot and then people see you like, skinning out a muley doe and they think you're poaching and
yeah, I know.
And all that. It's kind of like you just want to put up like a big hologram into the sky to say like this was an LEH hunt.
Yeah.
But whatever, if they call you on it, just be like, I got my LEH ticket right here.
Exactly. If they want to report it, go for it. I guess it's good if people are concerned, but yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I guess we'll just see what happens. Obviously, we're optimistic this year.
We'll have goat and doe, muley doe.
Hopefully we have one of those, but hopefully we'll have those two as a base.
Yeah.
Unless I sneak up on a big 4-point and then I can't even use my tag.
Right.
You can only take one muley out of Region 8.
Yeah.
And it can be a doe or a doe if you have this tag or a mule deer buck. So if I had the opportunity to take a 4-point muley, I would take that and rip out my tag.
Yeah.
My LEH tag for the doe.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to do a Euro for me.
I know. I'm up for that one. I'm going to do a Euro with the goat. And I think I'm just going to bring that one in. I don't want to deal with it.
It's not that expensive.
I know.
It's really not.
But I have to do your 4-point. That's just how it's going to be.
It's really not, I don't think, worth it to do on your own.
No.
Like if it's $150 to do it, whatever.
Just do it.
It's worth the time, man. Just pay it.
Yeah.
And plus they do a perfect job. So
yeah.
Don't have to deal with it.
That's true.
Cool.
Sweet, man. Well, good start to the season.
Yep.
Lots of cool opportunities, especially for you with LEH and the moose hunt that hopefully I can come on with Garrett. That was an LEH draw too.
Are you going to be around? Or no, you'll be leaving on the 11th and we'll be moose hunting probably before that. So you probably won't be here for if I take a doe down.
I know. I'm just hoping that we could get out.
Yeah.
While I'm still here would be nice. But
maybe. Maybe between the 6th and the 10th or something.
Yeah. Let's do it.
But cool.
Go out on the 6th.
Okay. Well, we'll keep everybody posted.
All right.
Good luck out there.
Good luck.
Cheers.
This episode of Rookie Hunter was brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Sitka Gear, and North Arm Knives. As always, it is hosted by Kelly Mullner and myself, Mike Peterson. It is recorded, edited, and produced at Mountain Stream Audio Productions in beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia. Original music written by the one and only Kelly Mullner with help from Graham Ord, Darcy Booth, and Chip Sleedermean. If you want to help us out, there's one thing you can do. You can go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from and leave us a 5-star rating and a review. And don't forget to subscribe. For more on the show, head over to our website, theRookieHunter.com.
Thank you.